past this eventually, and I just worry about it draining my resources, even though my party is pretty strong. So, yeah, we're gonna walk back and forth and kill amps for a good while longer. Here's my party. I introduced them last time, but of course no one could hear. I started with Wood the Fighter, who you will notice is level 1 and has 0 hit points, and that means he's dead. And Wood the Fighter, he's the hippie of the group. He's the guy who says, and it's partly because of Go Fishman, that's the game FAQs. I say partly, it's entirely because of Go Fishman on game FAQs. Yeah, every time I touch a forest tile, I have to walk through every adjoining forest tile, which in some cases is kind of excessive. Anyway, that's Wood's job. Wood is the kind of environmentalist, tree hugger, nature lover of the group. The next person we have is Tick the Fighter, or originally Tick was second. Tick is based off of Friend's D20 character, who we were playing D&D, and then we switched to Pathfinder, and Tick was originally a rogue who took levels in Assassin, and then we changed to Pathfinder, he took layers in Slayer, which is kind of a ranger rogue hybrid class, but he started out kind of chaotic evil, which wasn't good for my campaign. And basically, when he finds that an NPC isn't serving the party's needs, if he can find a way to do it, kills them and takes their stuff. And it's kind of his modus operandi. So that's a good time. So Tick is a little bit of death obsessed, and as such, he's going to make sure that someone in the party is dead at all times, and that different people are dead when facing different significant battles in this run, which oddly will include himself, and I'm not even going to try to explain that. So third party member is Look, the black belt, based on my friend's character, Luki, and he isn't a very good role player, and Luki is a very min-max monk, so he always is about the dice and strategy and making strange things happen, basically pushing the mechanics of the game past their limits. So they're going to be joined by a cat. Alright. This is Ramona. She is one of 3 cats. We mostly get along with Ramona. Yeah, she makes honking noises. Yeah. So Luki, being a min-max monk, the idea here is knowing that I need to keep a character dead, I'm going to min-max a little bit, even though I know that the mechanic effectiveness of it is pretty negligible. Monks gain a lot more magic defense. Floor class changed than the other classes, so my goal is going to be to keep Luki alive as much as possible in the early game, and if I start ignoring him late in the game, keeping him dead for reasons, that'll be fine. And since I'm going to have to overlevel a bit, he's going to be a very effective character when it comes to cards where I have to do long and stupid things because of these rules. So we got Wood, Tick, Look, and the last character is Mars, which is actually a short form of Marius, because I was thinking of an old character I had in an IRC game. And Marius was kind of a man from money, and he had a way about the world, and then ended up forced to integrate into lower society. And because he's a high society type, he believes in things like never wearing the same outfit twice. So here we are with Mars. Mars is actually the one walking around, and the idea is he wouldn't let you go into the same shop twice, because now that we've already shopped at the Conerian armor store, thanks to the rule presented by El Comanda 4, I think I pronounced that really well. I don't know. It's like white. Anyway. Because of that rule, we are no longer allowed to go into the Conerian weapon or armor stores, which is okay. We'll never need anything there again, although, we need to budget where we're going to sell things through this run, which is an interesting thing people may not have thought about. So those are the personalities here. We got the tree-hugging hippie type, the oddly death-obsessed type, the min-maxy type. It's all that archetype actually existed in the theater, interestingly. You might remember the Red Mage from that one. This time it's a long time. And then we've got the high society type in Mars. And right now they're walking back and forth killing imps to get to level 4. This also allows me to amass money with relatively low risk, because I'm only allowed to go into every shop once. I kind of need to work on my savings, even though it's against these really crappy enemies who don't pose much of a threat and don't give a whole lot of benefit. I'm honestly a bit scared to go to the Temple of Thieves. I'm worried about what can happen if someone gets paralyzed, poisoned. I don't think anything there poisons me. I used to be somewhat an expert on this game and fell out of practice. I was visiting different forums and getting married and having kids and such, so excuse me. So we're picking up from yesterday. I did say one new rule was added, and the rule was posted by Lord Morgren, and it was that I can't use the warp or exit spell. I don't think that was really in consideration in the first place. The one thing I do, I'm probably not the only one like this, the one thing I always depend on the exit spell for is I want to keep the ultimate endgame weapon, which you get in the ultimate dungeon of the game, and it's a little bit out of the way, and there's no reason why I want to keep it. All that's left when you get that weapon is to defeat the end boss. But it's nice to bring it out of there. And so I would have perhaps considered keeping the exit spell for the purpose of keeping the ultimate weapon, which is called the Mass Moon. I'm saying Mass Moon. Normally I would pronounce it, I think I've said this in the forums before, normally I would pronounce it properly, which is Masamune, but because it's got a little bit of a typographic abbreviation in this game, I'll call it Mass Moon. I'm not Japanese, I'm not going to pronounce things right that are butchered in my native language. I'll try. Yeah, I do like to keep that, so I don't know. Keeping a 6th level spell slot for my only significant spellcaster, Mars, here, just so that I can keep that sword. It is a contingency, but I don't know. With some of the rules I have, I worry that I guess my worry is if I get into a dungeon and I get into a pickle, I'm probably just screwed. And I don't know if exit is going to be the thing that helps me, especially on my lowest defense, lowest HP character. Maybe. But I think I'll have better uses for my 6th level spells. And I will have 6th level spells. It's possible to beat the game before your Red Mage or Red Wizard even has level 6 spells available, just because they get magic charges a bit slower than the White and Black Mages do. But I'm going to be over leveled. So talking through the rules there, I have to keep a character dead. I can't use more than one spell casting item in a battle. That's part of the reason I chose so many warrior type classes. Heavy on the weapon usage and such. Eventually it won't even be weapon usage. But there's that rule, it's the 4th one down on the list. If I touch a forest, I have to walk through every tile of the forest. And the elves supposedly appreciate nature enough that it's not necessary around Elfland, but around the dwarf cave I have to walk through every tile twice. Just hilarious. Am I looking forward to it? Not really. There's some implications here. It's going to make the walk between the first town, when I ultimately do that, and the second town, it's a bit of a nightmare. There's a huge number of forest tiles, and there are some encounters that can cause big trouble for the party. So I'm in a situation where I basically intend to level much higher than I typically would in the very, very early game. And so this early game is going to be incredibly boring. I might start fast-forwarding, or not fast-forward it. We'll see. But in the late game, there's a part where in the old 8-bit world map way of doing things, the party has an airship in the late game, and to get to a remote ancient city, they have to walk through an enormous forest, and they can't park their airship close to the city because it's overgrown with forest, and so they force you to walk through this giant forest where your airship can't land. But normally you could walk right through the forest. Not me, no. So I can't even estimate how many forest tiles are there. Some crazy person on the forums will probably be able to tell me. I'm not going to count it. Thanks, guys. I would say there's 400 or more. Just spitball, eyeball. But not only that, I have to walk to the city and then back from the city. And there are some scary encounters. So I have to walk through this enormous mess of encounters. If the encounter rate was like this, it'd be okay. I don't know if maybe some of these are no encounter tiles and I'm being an idiot. Frankly, maybe I should start walking in the forest. Clearly we have to appreciate nature now. So I have to walk through the city. Let's appreciate some nature. The first time I stepped in the forest, in the first broadcast, where no one could hear me, and hey, maybe no one can hear me now, I'm not really able to test. But in the first broadcast, when I stepped on the forest tile, it was an accident. I think now I'm feeling a bit more confident. I won't need as many frequent in-trips. Mars is the most... Well, no, Mars isn't the most vulnerable one here. I guess it's still Luke. But, what was I talking about? I was talking about that long walk. I am going to need to be drastically over-leveled for that long walk. I am of the opinion that it is probably as bad as the final dungeon would normally be in terms of how it wears down my resources. It wouldn't surprise me terribly if doing it with a 3-person party and all of these other strange rules, I might need to be very high level for that. Not using more than the same spell more than once, avoiding the use of item casts, so many things. Not being able to run from a battle. Running in Final Fantasy I is the most strategic thing that I miss from modern JRPGs. Yeah, basically JRPGs. There was no expectation, in my experience, that you were actually going to fight every encounter, and there was actual strategic value in deciding, does it make sense to run, or should I conserve my resources? Is this Ankylosaurus going to one-hit my hardest-hitting fighter? These strange things happen, and you would have to weigh it was risk assessment is what was happening, and you don't see that in modern games. They're designed for you to fight everything. They're designed for you to gain the experience from fighting everything to make the end game achievable. Final Fantasy VII. How often do you run from fights in Final Fantasy VII? I can tell you, I only do when I want to talk to that particular person who only gives you something when you fought a multiple of 11 battles. So I try to run through that part really quickly. That's about it. Final Fantasy VI especially. I never run from anything in Final Fantasy VI. There are some games between this game and Final Fantasy VI. I can think of a couple JRPGs where running was fun. Certainly Chrono Trigger, running was awkward. It looks stupid, just graphically. Running in Chrono Trigger doesn't look like it was an intended feature that they kind of tacked on at the last minute. It doesn't make sense with the way the game works. It looks like they barely accounted for it. It was some intern's job to make running in Chrono Trigger. Anyway, running is a part of playing Final Fantasy I on the NES in its original release, not so much in the re-releases. And not being able to run makes the game hard. And it makes the thief class useless, which is interesting because someone else told me not to use a thief. I was going to. I have a preference for not having the same character type in the party. Adding variety, having different sprites. But instead I've got Tick and Wood here who are both fighters, and they're gonna look the same. I don't know, they're gonna have a bit of a different personality, I guess. So, not being able to run during that bit is going to be be a pain in the butt. There's one rule here that just forces my route. It's not a big deal. In normal play, it would be kind of irritating. So Des 223, a game that use moderator, told me that I need to get the airship before going to the Castle of Ordeals or Burbu Volcano. And that would be significant normally because there is first of all, it seems, based on the materials that came with the game and the flow of difficulty, I think anyone would tell you the intended game order is to go to the volcano first. But what most experienced players do is they go to the Castle of Ordeals first, which doesn't even look entirely like it was a planned alternate route, but it's possible to dock your ship at a river if you have a canoe, because you can kind of, I guess, launch the canoe right up here to the ship. I think that must be what's happening in the real world. Yeah. I'm going to check that this is straight. I'm going to have a break for a moment here. Yeah, we're good. Okay, I'll shut up. Alright. Anyways, it wasn't intended that it seems as if perhaps it wasn't intended for you to be able to go to the Castle of Ordeals so early. But a lot of experienced players do. And the main reason that they do this is because there are a couple of really good items available in the Castle of Ordeals. There's something called the Heal Staff that lets you cast a low power monster first that lets you cast a very low level healing spell on the entire party. So if you end up in a relatively safe battle and you start using the Heal Staff over and over and over again, it gives you a way to restore your entire party. So because of the restriction on me using spellcasting items, that's not as significant as it normally would be. The Castle of Ordeals also has a spellcasting gauntlet called the Zeus Gauntlet that casts a mid-level lightning spell for free as many times as you want. The character can use it once around the way they can do most things once around. And if I can only use one spell casting item once per battle, the value of those items and the whole trip to Ordeals becomes a little bit lower. There's a couple other benefits. There is a good way to get one good, really good defensive item at the Castle of Ordeals if you go there early. It's not the biggest deal in the world. The status effect thing, I'm not really sure how that's going to affect me, other than the fact that Zombo is a very fun poster, and the select button. Final Fantasy 1 is, I don't know, in the scope of how games worked at the time, it wasn't like it was designed to be as inconvenient as possible. But it does this thing where whenever a party member is afflicted with an out-of-battle status ailment, they get automatically shuffled to the bottom of the party list, which I don't know what the idea was there. I guess it's... I can't even offer an explanation for what benefit that serves, frankly. That would be an interesting thing to hear. Without the select button, I can never reorder my party. It also disables the in-game map, which is almost kind of an Easter egg, so that's not a giant big deal. I think I walked that row up there. If not, I think everyone will just forgive me. So my party order, because of the characters dying all the time because of X-Scorpion's rule and Diamond Dragon's rule, and because of status effects, my party order is going to change all the time. And Mars is going to be my most vulnerable character through the whole run, more or less, except right now. And the characters dying. That's going to be irritating at some point. But you know what? It's not as bad as if I had a mage in the party. There's so many reasons these rules have left me disinclined towards using pure mages, which would be the black mage and the white mage, who had very little offensive and defensive potential. but they have spells. And the spells, I have all kinds of rules about how often I can use them. So I'm not using those classes. That was it for a happy round. Non-mages can't use the magic command after class change. Well, that's not really a big deal. It'll prevent Tick and Wood from casting magic after class change. I am considering, not really fully enacting, but considering not buying the Cure and Cure 2 spell for Mars, so that I have access to it for Tick and Wood later, which would basically be because of the giant walk through the fen. Yes, we are going to debate pronunciations, almost certainly. More correctly, I'm the one talking, so I'm right, and until you talk back at me, you can have to deal with So we're going to see if maybe I can try playing just without the Cure spell for until class change. We'll see. The Black Belt can't use nunchucks. That is very soon going to be irrelevant. And I can't use a thief. And I moved that rule to the bottom because I've already chosen not to use a thief. So that rule is pretty much come and gone. It's no longer really relevant. Unless, for some reason, I decided I had to start over. Yeah, this is fine. I've already spent a full hour killing imps. I would like to make this more exciting. You know what? Let's do something. Let's make it happen here. We're going to go to the end. We're going to get fully restored. Maybe I should have let my counter happen. I have over 1,000 at this point in the game. It's pretty good. We're going to go to the Temple of Kings. Depending on our condition when we get there, we may face Garland or we may not. Garland being the first boss of the game. And if you played Dissidia, you know all of Garland. And if you like Christmas time, you know Garland. I haven't thought too much about what's going to happen when the time comes to reintegrate Wood. And I'm not thinking too much about it now. I think they'll just be okay. Fighters have the benefit of chain armor in the early game, which makes a lot of enemies a lot less effective. There are still things that are going to be able to hurt me, especially on that walk to Provoca, the second village. If I encounter an ogre at a very low level and I'm not able to run, it's not going to go well. I think they'll just be okay. Fighters have the benefit of chain armor in the early game, which makes a lot of enemies. Here's my fast forward. There are still things that are going to be able to hurt me, especially at the second village. If I encounter an ogre, not that I'm running out of banter. Not in short supply. Although this is my first time doing Twitch, it's not the first time I've talked at length to an anonymous audience of gaming enthusiasts, because there were 2 instances where I was involved in the task videos community, so tool-assisted speedruns, which I was very active in that community basically before I met my wife, and not very active. I was kind of interested in. I was a regular poster reviewer, but back then there were Fantasy Star runs, and there were starting to be people recording commentaries on existing runs, and so I recorded like a 2.5-hour commentary on full runs of Fantasy Star 4 by a player named Janice, which I don't know, I thought was interesting, but I mean, not like I'm sitting there listening to my own voice for very long. But yeah, talking through. This will be it. I wasn't expecting to get hurt. Oh goodness, that only did 3 damage. Okay. This'll be it. This'll be okay. Yeah. Ooh. Up there. Wookie, you suck. Even your wooden staff. But in the early game, these guys, well, it's not that significant a prize. I was going to say that making it in here. I have no idea where I was, so here I am walking through all these stupid forest tiles. Despite these guys being called bones, they are in fact full skeletons. They are not a single animated bone. Which is more threatening? I'm not sure. Seeing a bone just headed toward me, that would be pretty unnerving. Three bones. These guys are collectively the inner ear. I sure hope my audio's working, because that's fun. That's better. I'm going to laugh at my own jokes all the time, so you don't even have to worry about laughing at my jokes. This is a full-service challenge run. I think we're in good shape here. I think I should fight Garland. Who's with me? Let's go for the cap and fight Garland. Let's be really ambitious here. Should I go for the other chests? Let's do it. Okay, I've got a cap. I don't believe there's any blue affecting my access to a cap. I'm going to put it on Mars. Fitting, because he is the pimpy red mage. He has a cap in his sprite. Oh, this is... This is going to make me leave. This sucks. What's the right thing to do? Release the wolves at home. This is one of those battles where, because of risk versus reward, which I talked about earlier, in normal play, I would 100% run this fight. No question. No question at all. There's not very much reward from this proportional to the difficulty. That wolf. He is dangerous. He can cause some significant damage. That was a super crappy animal. I wasn't even watching the damage close enough to know how to target that, but they're standing up at least. You know, I need to level before provoke. There's no reason to rush the garlic, but this is going to be okay. I'm going to walk back to Caneria, come back, fight Garland, back to Caneria, come back, get the other treasure chest. It's going to be a pain in the butt, but we were going to be walking around for a little while anyway. This is going to be... There is an option to make the battle speed one step. Oh, look at that. Wookie, you devil. 71 experience is pretty good, but for what I had to do, I don't know. How are the vitality gains here? Oh, I'm taking this one. You're fine. Vitality is what matters most to me right now. Late game vitality equals HP. And your early gains matter as far as your late game HP. It's not like there's some... Well, in a way there is exponential growth. In a way, if you were to get 8 points of vitality in your first 8 levels, that would mean extra HP in every level after that. So I'm not going to get too much into the mechanics. I don't know if I can do it as a talking head down here. I haven't bought heal potions intentionally, and I am not going to fight Garland with that HP. There is a reasonable chance I could win, but there's no reason to rush. So instead I'm going to walk through the huge ass forest. Thanks, Go Fishman, because everyone loves watching that, so here we go. The Kree sprite is supposed to be some kind of worm-like creature. I've never seen it. To me, they look like kind of a blob with a mouth. The sprites for this game, as they are with many of the early Final Fantasy games, are based on artwork by that fellow Amano. What's his first Kree? Yoshi something. Yoshi Taka. Amano, anyway. And some of the sprites turned out pretty good. Some of them don't look like what they're supposed to look like to me, and often it's my interpretation. You know how it is with game sprites. One that always gets me is the Sage Luca in Secret of Mana. She always looks like she has this goofy smile to me, but it turns out I've just always looked at her sprite the wrong way. I can't quite describe it, certainly, again, as a talking head. It's funny the way these old sprites age. I think the fighter looks pretty good still. Yeah, creeps don't look like really anything to me. Kind of a pink blob with a mouth on top. Yeah, another really bad one is the giants that we'll see later in this game. They're supposed to look really cool, and when you look at the Amano artwork, you know exactly what it's supposed to be. And they tried to sprite based on the Amano artwork, and it doesn't work. To me, they just look like huge fat guys with like a fin on their back. But what they actually are is these guys that are kind of floating in the air with a cape behind them, and that's what the fin is. Their heads don't look like it. They look like almost sort of, I don't know, their heads are little kind of triangular shapes. They look kind of Jabba the Hutt-like almost. Hard to explain my own point of view of a sprite we haven't seen yet. I like Amano's artwork. By the time the 16-bit era rolled around and we started to see the sprites closely based on it in Final Fantasy 5 and 6, they were really good. Less so in these 8-bit games. But you know what, honestly, much more notably in this game than Final Fantasy 2 and 3, the sprites did get better throughout the Famicom era. You know, if Mars dies, I am going to consider that a minor win. And I will keep him dead, and I will get wood a couple levels. The first couple levels as a fighter are significant levels. You might have noticed Tick's HP, level 4, his HP is already over 100. They have what are called strong HP gains in their first few levels, and they tend to get ahead of the party. Fighters are an overpowered class in the original release of Final Fantasy. Everyone pretty much knows it. They have incredible equipment options, very strong statistics. They have very high magic resistance, which baffles some people. People kind of think, no, that's supposed to apply to wizards. There's a theory that all of the magic defense growths in the whole game are backwards, which would explain almost the entire balance of the classes being wrong in this game. People kind of know mostly. Black belts are, they're iffy. They're situationally useful. If you were to get them to level 50 at all times, they would probably be the best class in general in all regards. But for most people, the fighter and the red mage end up being two somewhat overpowered classes. And I don't know if it's so much that they're overpowered, especially the red mage, so much as the black mage, white mage, and thief are underpowered. The difference between black mage and red mage is kind of funny in Final Fantasy 1. I mean, your magic power isn't dependent on stats at all. So the black mage has a few more magic charges than the red mage, but his equipment selection is so much worse, and he has access to fewer different spells. So a lot of people would argue that red mage is straight up preferable to the black mage in all except a few very niche scenarios. And most people would say the same thing about the red mage compared to the thief. The red mage generally has better stats than the thief, equal or better equipment options before class change, and not bad equipment options after, plus access to a lot more magic. The thief turns into a ninja at class change. He does get access to a bit of low-level black magic. Nothing to write home about. Oh, except that they gain the fast spell. That's significant, but the red mage has had that for ages by that point, so the thief apologists are a rowdy group who really just need to accept that the best argument comes down to the thief's awesome blue hair and the ninja's overworld sprite after class change, which looks like someone in pajamas. If you are a warrior of light, walking around the fields slaying monsters in your pajamas, you are a badass. Red Ninja sprites. The overworld is notable, the in-battle ones, and probably even more so for the Red Wizard, which is the class change form. People associate him with being a pimp. He's got the cape and the hat, and I always thought, and I know it's the cape, but if you look at that red line under his arm, that's supposed to be the outline of his cape. But it always looks to me like he's got some kind of stylish cape and is holding in his hand and it's going down to the ground. It actually looks to me kind of like he's got a Pimp Daddy cane. He doesn't. There's probably hacks where he does. There's almost definitely hacks where he does, and there's probably hacks where he doesn't. No, I haven't. No, I don't. No, I don't actually believe that exists. But maybe. He does. The black belt was supposed to have an afro. Is that what that is? Because when you turn into the master, I know that the sprite was changed from the Japanese release to the North American release, and they reduced how much hair he has. And I wonder if he was supposed to be a guy with an afro, a yellow-skinned afro guy. Is that what that is? I don't know if I've ever seen an Asian version of Afro. They pull it off. It's got to be all over the product, right? Okay, what am I going to do on this trip? I think that if all continues to go well, this, I don't remember whether I wanted that in the forest, this will be the time to take down again, the first boss of the game. Master of Bones. Okay, what am I going to do on this trip? I think that I don't have much in the way of magic. I don't even intend to buy the first level of black magic with Red Mage. I might get a sleep spell, but I'm not sure. The Red Mage is strong enough that his fire and lightning, his first level of spells, are fairly ever going to be more significant than his attack, which is unlimited, perfectly within their rules. So I don't care about that. So I could be talking about the monster's weaknesses and such. It doesn't matter right now. Bones are undead. Undead, as in many RPGs, the undead take additional damage from fire. Ooh, did I walk through it? Nobody get me in trouble, okay? They take additional damage from fire, and they're vulnerable to a special set of undead killing spells. But they only have 10 HP, those bones. This is Garland. His intention is to knock me down because of the collective impertinence of the fools. And so generally, when a fool reaches a certain threshold of impertinence, they need to be knocked down. And then that fixes the problem with the impertinence of the fools. By knocking them down, the problem created by the fools having a high degree of impertinence, that problem is solved at that point. So really, I kind of understand where Garland's coming from. Of all the Final Fantasy villains, he's definitely the best developed. He has a bit of armor. Our attacks aren't going to do a ton of damage. Now that Luki's level 4, I borderline should consider taking that staff away from him. I can take his armor away from him, and technically, from a statistical perspective, I should. It would matter a teensy bit. This fight's going to be long and most likely uneventful. I am over-leveled for fighting Garland, although normally I would have 4 characters. But this really isn't a threatening situation. I would just be fast-forwarding right now, frankly, but I feel like it's such a significant battle. Plus, I like Garland. I mean, he's got a point about the fools being impertinent. And that a good way to fix that problem is to knock all of them down. And it's important to note that you do need to knock all of them down, or else the problem doesn't go away. Impertinence has a way of coming back. So, yeah. I'm going to do something here. I am going to not talk to that lady. I'm going to go get that pictures. I sure hope it doesn't have gargoyles. I think it's valuable. Yeah. See, these guys are nothing. I'm going to do something. As I recall, these guys are nothing. It turned out that they are something. Unlike most undead, at least they have stuff. That Garland battle went really well after that crazy werewolf battle. Or, not werewolf, regular wolf and werewolf. As I recall. That's a bonus. Yeah, that's a useful item. That might come in handy on our walk to provoke. These are not hard enemies. This is so much better than running into wolves. I don't remember how much HP a spider has. For some reason, 10 comes to mind again. But, no, evidently not 10. I think I'm thinking of bones. Which I did already say 10. Okay, these guys have a bunch of HP, but unlike their big brothers, the arachnids that we'll certainly see later, they can't poison. So, I'm not really worried about the spiders. It's not like they're in my hands. Even though there's part of this temple we haven't explored, we're done here. I might come here to grind a little bit, believe it or not, just because the experience is higher. but until we get a fancy key, we can't get more items there. Here's the king. He's going to build me a bridge, because that's how you thank people. And the princess is going to give me a loot, which of course I would use right away. So useful, so beautiful. I haven't been in the castle at all, but you don't need to go in the castle for very much. Later on we'll look at a couple things. And as a point of curiosity, if anyone's joining the stream who doesn't know the game well, which honestly would be baffling to me. And I say this while I'm forgetting the layout of the damn castle. This is kind of not cool. But there is this well-known, I guess we used to call it an exciting unknown feature, almost an Easter egg, except that it is in fact a bug. But what happens is there's a person somewhere here. Yeah, here. There's a person here who doesn't appear on the map. And so there was this thing about the invisible person, who's the invisible person. But in fact, it's just a programming oversight. And there's certain positions where I think you can see them. It must be in the room up above. Yeah, no problem. I think once you can go into that room up there, and I can't yet, there is a way to see that, oh, there's a person there, and what happens is they're flagged to appear when you're in a room. So, the programming oversight. There's a bridge, right? Oh, I just did that. Hey, do I have to do this every time I go over the bridge? That would be a pain. That just adds to the irritation of going for a bulkhead. I'm too excited for that. I'm adjusting something. Just a moment. I'm just turning up my microphone to kind of make sure this is going to work. Okay, what was I doing? I was walking through the forest, right? Because that's all I freaking do. Go fishman. Go fishman. One time, for Halloween, I dressed up as a Lego man. I was in my I was in my second year of university at the time, and went to a party with two people I knew and a whole lot of people I didn't know. We made friends with a British dude, although I don't know if it's a British dude or convincingly faking a British dude, who was dressed as a woman, and I was dressed as a Lego man. And we remember distinctly noting that he kept referring to me as a Legoman. 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 When you say it a certain way, it sounds more like a job than an object or a toy. Legoman. So when I say goat fishman, it's like, yes, the man who tends to the goat fish. There aren't a lot of those. I mean, I'm no expert, but I don't believe there are a lot of goat fishmen. Although, isn't that what a Capricorn is? Kinda. Except possibly the man part. Is a Capricorn not basically a goat fish? So in that case, a goat fishman would be a Capricorn keeper. This makes me wonder, is the person who told me to walk through every forest tile some kind of astrologer? killing imps. This time I am killing imps for the purpose of walking through a forest, not even leveling. Leveling is no longer my primary interest here. Although it should be. I was really just trying to get to the bridge, but on the other side of that bridge is a long and nasty walk to the next city. I should probably see if I can cut it. Let's try. Let's see what happens. We won't worry about wood just yet. Okay, here's how I get to the bridge. Down. Over. If it weren't clear, this is how I get to the bridge because of the strange rules of the strange challenge. Not because this is the best way to get to the bridge. To my knowledge, there's no real disbenefit to avoiding forests in this game, or to walking through forests. I guess to avoiding forests, there are some grass tiles that are not encounter tiles. But you don't avoid encounters more easily by walking through the grass instead of through the forest. There are games where, for example, walking on the grass or on the road, if there's a game on the road, makes you have fewer encounters, but I don't believe that applies to this game at all. Okay, this little inlet here I can actually walk right over. Nice. Here's the part where the credit rolls look like a fake credit, and I skipped it. I fast forwarded it. So over here is a very big forest. We're going to use a different approach this time. Everybody missed. This stupid game. Again, if you're new to this game, you might be wondering about the way I target enemies and why I take the time to do it every turn. In the early Final Fantasy games, I think it was affecting only 1 and 2. Combat rounds work differently, and if you were targeting an enemy and they were killed before your next attack hit them, it was just considered an ineffective attack. You were attacking the empty space where that enemy was to be. And again, with this game having its roots in early editions of D&D, that made a sort of sense, because two people wouldn't be choosing to attack the same monster at the same time. And in the scale of combat, the way it used to work, and not everyone was playing D&D with grid paper, you were planning this encounter, and really, you could be fighting over acres, and there's a wolf, and someone has to head in the direction of the wolf and attack it. So, goodness. Okay, I'm not going to walk through the forest now. I guess this might help me level, I don't know. Stupid canines. I consider myself a cat person. I happen to not really like my cats, but I consider myself a cat person. One of them is on my feet now. It's not the one I showed earlier. My cats all have literary names. We have Holmes, Ender, and Ramona. Ramona, we have different interpretations of why she's named Ramona. I think Ramona Flowers from Scott Pilgrim, which my wife is okay with. But kind of more popular around the time we got her were those Ramona and Beezus books that are kind of children's lit that I've never read or know anything about. The Bridge Symphony and only plays once. See, now I'm in pretty good shape. I should probably still fight, but well, across the bridge. Fight a pony or something. Isn't that a Beatles song? Up here is somewhere I'll have to go much later in the game, and some people go there now because there's a few potions there. And maybe I will if I get really bored. There's a tiny cave with a witch that you need to talk to for quest completion. Somewhat later in the game. Normally, it's a minor fetch quest and not really a big deal at all. But with this stupid forest rule, it's going to be time consuming because I'm going to have to walk through probably 100 tiles of forest there and back. 100 tiles each there and back. It's going to be good times. I probably seem like I'm not really enjoying this, but it's pretty good. In my first video, and again, there was crappy audio on my first video, and there's probably crappy audio now. I'm not wearing a headset. I don't even know if I have a proper headset that'll work with this computer. What with the change from mic ports, and I don't even think I have a USB headset. I have one for work, but I'm actually hesitant about using work products for personal use. We'll see. I have a good job. It treats me well. I try and treat it. What was I saying? Oh yeah, the audio was so bad. When I started out yesterday, it was very clumsy. It was my first time using Twitch. And it was also my first time playing Final Fantasy in quite possibly a decade. I don't believe I've played the original since I met my wife. So almost definitely at least 6 years, probably longer. Last time would have been sometime I was alone at my parents' house. I found the NES in the basement type scenario. My NES has been liberated and it's hooked up in my basement. I think I've got a problem with the RF switch though. Can't get it to work with my somewhat modern TV. So I haven't played a lot of my NES. Of course, there's so many ways to play NES games, many of which are legitimate. I mean, I own my Final Fantasy card. I'll show that on the stream sometime, just for posterity's sake. But I still have my FF1 card, and got my NES. I have several games on my Wii. I have an Ouya. There's no legal way to play NES games on it, but they port different things to it. For some reason, there's the Final Fantasy III remake that was originally for DS is available on Ouya, which is kind of cool. I also have that on iOS. I have a bunch of games on iOS. When I was new to iPhone, one of the first things I did was get Final Fantasy I, which had all the bonus content. Unfortunately, it was based on the Anniversary Edition, which locks the game in easy mode as it would have appeared on Origins. Same as the Game Boy Advance version. Origins was a pretty good remake. It was a slight update with some of the modern conveniences. It didn't radically change the difficulty of the game. That last point is arguable. In some ways it increased the difficulty, in some ways it reduced it. It kind of balanced out. It was a good remake. The newer remakes of this game are just stupid. They basically, every freaking dog drops a phoenix down. There's no sense of danger the way there was in the NES game that made this so good. RPGs were different in the JRPGs were different in the NES game days. there was real risk of dying in a lot of places you go in Final Fantasy 1, and that's without all these ridiculous rules. But the Earth Cave is hard, the Marsh Cave is hard, the Ice Cave is... There's a danger everywhere, and like I said, running is kind of a critically important part of the game. And it's not like that anymore. I remember a discussion that I was having with someone once about Final Fantasy versus Dragon Quest, Dragon Warrior, in the very early days. And they were saying that the thing they really like about Dragon Warrior 1 compared to Final Fantasy 1, and in my opinion, Final Fantasy blows Dragon Quest out of the water, when you line up the installments anyway, as best they can. But my point is, when you're actually comparing Dragon Warrior 1 to Final Fantasy 1, Dragon Warrior seems primitive and short and bland. But someone was saying, but it's a one-character game. You really get the sense that it's one lone warrior without amazing, fantastic powers, and he's against the world. You get the sense of loneliness and struggle much more in that game than you do in Final Fantasy. So it's interesting that someone's opinion out there, and I get what they're saying, but it was someone else's opinion, was very much an emotional response to these very early JRPGs. I find that an interesting perspective. How did I get on that topic? It was something to do with this game. It was about the sense of danger being gone. Dragon Warrior had a sense of danger. There are a lot of games, even through the Super Nintendo era, that you just weren't going to beat without dying. They don't expect that in games like Final Fantasy 13. They did in Final Fantasy 12. It was reasonably easy to die in Final Fantasy 12, mostly because it was so open-ended. You could, in like that first area, you could walk up to a T-Rex and hit it with a stick and then be eaten. So, I haven't even beaten Final Fantasy 12. I played it for a fairly long time without making progress. I would have to say I enjoyed Final Fantasy 12. I probably played through half of it, while sinking in dozens of hours, because I just kept doing idle things and collecting idle things. And, yeah. It was an interesting game. Calling it an offline MMO appeals to me because I played it much the way I would play an MMO. I don't actually need to interact with other people when I play a game to enjoy it, and that's why we're doing what we're doing today. I'm getting a warning on my broadcast software. It says high encoding CPU usage. No, it doesn't. I wonder if you're seeing anything different as we go along. I really have no sense of how this is working, which is intriguing to me. I don't know how people do this on a regular basis. I'm not wired in. I'm not really on a gaming machine. I'm actually playing. Well, let's not get into that. But, yeah, I think my computer's doing just fine. For what it is. For what it is, it's doing a very good job. I'm kind of a computer guy who's never owned a high-quality computer. And for that matter, it's also strange. I'm kind of a computer guy. I've got a computer science degree and qualified to teach children computer science. And there was a time when I just didn't have a computer in my house at all. Not that long ago. And I would basically, my work computer was my access to a computer. And for a while it wasn't even a laptop. I just had to use my crappy Windows XP desktop at work when I needed something. But I'm a computer guy with a healthy fear of technology, I guess. I think it's odd the way we use these tools, and I think probably the best example outside of computing is automotives. The way people depend on tools that they completely don't understand. Totally depend on these things, these very complicated systems that very smart engineers figured out often a very long time ago. And I just wonder with things like the way people use iOS devices and develop for them. Smartphones and things like that in general. Is this time going to come where the people who consider themselves talented with developing those softwares don't actually know anything about integration with the operating system and how the operating system works with the hardware? Who are the people that are going to be aware of that relationship between the hardware and the software? There's a fairly small group of people with that kind of knowledge, and we're producing more technology than ever. That understanding of the base level of things is, I'm not saying it's going away, but it's underrepresented, and that's odd. That was a tangent. But there hasn't been much exciting in the game, to be fair. I would love to tell you more about these characters' personalities, but they haven't had a chance to do much. They did show Garland that they must not have been that impertinent because they were not knocked down. And so overall it must have been some great force's will that, they must not have been that impertinent because they weren't knocked down. And if it was actually a problem that they were impertinent, they would have been knocked down. Because as Garland said, that was a good point. You can't help but agree with them about knocking down fools that are impertinent. Most of the time, when I see a fool, I act like it's any other person. Like, hey, I get it. You're a fool. You can be proud. Be a fool. Show us that you're a fool. That's okay. Be a fool. It's when the impertinence is turned up that these types of things become a problem to me. And so, usually if I encounter a fool that is impertinent, I try to knock them all down. And I succeed. I should note that I have never been terminated by a fool that was impertinent. If that was a question. To date, I haven't been terminated. The rules haven't been very relevant. Should I be giving up and just walking through the giant freaking forest? Because besides running into those wolves the very first time, this has been kind of a waste of time. And Mars hasn't actually been in any significant danger for a while yet. I guess I should be thinking about whether I want Mars to die. Maybe I should have the viewers vote on whether Mars to die. Maybe I want Mars to die, bring wood on the long walk. But then I'll be at a bit of a disadvantage for the long walk. Level-related text was fast forwarding. But the level ups actually go by fairly slowly, so that would be a hard thing to miss. And also there's a victory dance. That should be a cue to stop fast forwarding. Too bad there's no item drops in this game. I would have so many goodies right now. Don't attack me, you stupid wolf. Oh, level 5. Here's where we can observe something going wrong. If we unequip his wooden armor, his absorb is 4 and his evade is 56. So it is slightly beneficial for him to go without armor. And I think in one level, it will actually make sense for him to be pummeling things with his hands. I think, if I remember how unarmed black belts work. We've got Mars vulnerable now. Let's just let it happen though, because the other two are fine. Just making sure I didn't level. For some reason I thought I might have seen level related text when I was fast forwarding. But the level ups actually go by fairly slowly, so that would be a hard thing in this. And also there's a victory dance. That should be a cue to stop fast forwarding for me. Too bad there's no item drops in this game. I would have so many goodies right now. Don't attack me, you stupid wolf. Oh, level 5. Here's where we can observe something going wrong. The black belt's armor is supposed to set equal to his level, but when he gains a level up, it doesn't do it automatically if he's got a weapon. It's a strange oversight / bug. So if I actually visit the armor screen and don't change a thing, and then visit Wookiee's status screen, it goes up to 5. It also shows his damage as 11. What if we unequip his stick? 10. Hit rate of 17. I guess I might as well keep it until it improves. It's not the biggest deal in the world. This could be the fight where Mars dies. Keep it until it improves. Or if I it's not the biggest deal. It's the fight where Mars is somewhat wounded coming in and somewhat more wounded coming out. Oh, this is different. But I had a chance to strike first, so I don't expect this will be challenging. This single one has a lot of hit points. These are the same guys who later show up next to giants, right? I guess it makes sense for them to have a lot of hit points. Are they worth a lot of goodies? Does that mean these guys are going to be showing up in those awful forests? Gotta tell you, I am not looking forward to this forest walk. But once I make it, I think I'm going to clear. The pirates aren't part. I've said that I'm going to be there. Oh, down to 2. Okay, so here's what we're going to do. We're going to go back to Veneria. We're going to be careful not to walk in the forest at this point. I'm going to get wood to level 2 at least before I attempt the walk. Wait. Oh, I guess that changes at the end of the next fight. This is fine. My select button is completely disabled. Oh, I better go to the end. That would have been a funny thing to forget. I'm used to all my modern conveniences. Look at all that money. I can buy whatever I want. This is awesome. Where do I want the next town? Should I buy short swords? I think I should just save up for a silver sword. Make Tick into a death machine. I said Tith. That's a cool name. I'm gonna have to recommend that name. It's a combination of Tick and death. Spoonerism. That works. I would really like some reassurance that my audio is working. Okay, Wood's first fight. So far so good. Good job, Wood. I gave him a weapon, right? Good. And you got 28 damage. Hey. Should I go over there? Let's do a lap of the lovely Canarian reedy forest. Let's have a quick look and see how the stream is going. We got 28 damage. Need to adjust my recording input some more, I think. We'll see what I can do. I'm not using a headset. What can I possibly ask for, right? But let's do our best. Okay. My built-in microphone volume is at its highest possible value. Let's see how that goes. Okay. To the forest. Got to appreciate nature now that Wood is back. Wood is loving this. And Tick says, I am so glad Mars is dead. I have a feeling Tick and Mars wouldn't work well together. Tick basically likes killing things and Mars basically likes being obnoxious. That's my perception. If you have to kill something, you may as well kill the party member who's obnoxious, right? That's my point of view. I don't think about killing things all the time, though, if that was a concern. I'm really getting used to this walking through every tile of forest thing. It's default behavior now, and it is something I mentioned yesterday. Of course, my audio was crappy yesterday. It is something I've done before. Notably, I always do it when I'm grinding east of Elfland, and so there's a little patch where there's a field of green, and within the field, the green field, there's the lighter green part, and that's a good grinding spot. You encounter a reasonable quantity of ogres who are good money producers. And so if I were doing something like grinding for magic for the marsh king, that would be a place to grind. And I would walk back and forth covering every light green tile without touching the dark green tiles. So I always did that. And someone else shared in the game FAQs topic that they do that all the time too, so that's kind of funny. I have to think with all the things that have been mentioned that I'm not the only one that does a lot of things. For example, saving the exit spell for getting out of the final dungeon. I can't think of a lot of other times I use the secret spell. It can be handy in the ice cave, but it's also perfectly likely that you won't have any level 6 charges for the ice cave, or, well, especially when you get to the end. I bet Wood is really looking forward to that first level up. You know what it feels like to level up. I wonder what level I am, and if I've noticed my level ups. I mean in real life. It's gotta feel good to suddenly have your strengths increment like that. Probably just like, you know that feeling when you have a really good day and you're aware of it? It's probably like that. I had a few of those recently. I was sick a lot earlier this year. I was sick with minor colds and occasionally something worse than minor colds through January and February, pretty much entirely. There we go. Good job, Wood. You got a vitality gain. I forget if that's forced or not. Yeah, I was sick for so long. Again, mostly minor things, no big deal. But I was sick for so long that I kind of started thinking about it is going to feel so good when I feel better. And when I am no longer sick, I'm going to be super aware of it and thankful. And I'm still sometimes very aware that I'm reasonably healthy, and that still makes me feel good. But yeah, for a while it was very much like, I'm healthy. This is the best thing I can imagine. I would like to make sure that this is the forest that I have to walk through, and I think it is. 1 damage, that's what we like to see. Ugh, what a nightmare. Thank you, Goat Fishman. This is your doing, Goat Fishman. How come the other zodiac signs aren't so freaky? What was someone smoking in January? You came through once again, Zach. I have an algorithm here if you haven't noticed. I do tend to think this way. Okay, so I just walk right, next step is to walk up. That's good. Everyone on the Final Fantasy Theme FAQs board, I used to be a regular there. It was literally 10 years ago. I remember because of the job I had at the time. That was when I signed up. That wasn't when I signed up. That was when I became active. And it was very much about Final Fantasy 1 for me at the time. I haven't been active there for a long time, and now I find people there know each other, and they know names of things, and they keep referring to someone as Guy, and I honestly don't remember which guy is referred to as Guy. And it seems like something I should know anyway. There's a certain circle of friends there that I was away and am not a part of, which is okay, guys. You don't need to invite. And what was I saying? Oh yeah, I think Goat Fishman, I'm not sure, I could be wrong, but that might be Guy, and I don't know if I'm supposed to say Guy instead of Goat Fishman, or Goat Fishman. It would save some syllables. Ruki's HP isn't doing so well. I'm wondering about this. I have one heal potion. I have one cabin. What should I do here? Again, this is the kind of battle where normally I would run. There is no way out of this stupid battle. So we'll reward. I think there might be another forest before Provoka. But you know what? This one wasn't that bad. Oh. Thank you, Fate. Again, this is the kind of battle that I would run. There is no way. Should I bother healing him? I'm thinking no. Even if I heal him, there's a... Let's try. Nice. Oh, ooh. Well, look at how that worked. That was cool. That felt good. That was, if you didn't catch it, Wookie was in terrible shape. He was going to heal himself with my single potion that I picked up in the Temple of Thieves. Someone actually targeted him, but missed, and then he healed himself for a good amount. I don't believe that amount is completely stable in this game, so... well, now that doesn't feel so good. I think this is going to be okay. What I'm more worried about is still running into an ogre at this point. I saved. I saved right before I left the area. That amount is completely stable. There we go. Uh-oh. Oh, that isn't even what I was uh-ohing about. The forest in front of me, I think, is much bigger than I had anticipated. I'm worried. And I'm forced to walk through it. Yeah, let's do it. It's not like there's a choice, right? It does go all the way down the other side, I think. This is the part where I die. I'm going to hold down the A button because that's all I can really do here. And I'm going to hold down the fast forward button. And then we'll just see the result. Go all the way down the other side, I think. Hey, that wasn't bad at all. I should just shut up. This is, my team is amazing. This is the part where I'm going to hold down the A button because that's all I can really do here. And then we'll just see the result. I don't know how to gauge what tiles I walk on. I think I've got a new system here. Oh. Okay. I'm not keen on those HP values. No ogre, no ogre.
I don't know how to
Well, what if I do this and don't save? Should have done that before the last battle. Didn't think of it. But let's see. Because that's still going to be worthwhile if I can get to Provoca. While appreciating nature. It's not that bad. Look at his HP ticking down. That's fun. That's so fun. That's so fun, Goatfish, man. And others. Oh, dang. Okay. So, what's the right thing to do? I think Wood's got to be level 3 before I get in there. But I got pretty far. Maybe I should just try again. I don't even know. A lot of that was going reasonably well, right? The ogre went well. Some of the creeps went well. Some of them. It was exciting. I told you there's an element of danger in this game. And you know, even if I could run, if I, ooh, that was stupid. If I could run, I would be strategizing a little differently. I would, but there would still be danger. There would still be close calls. The modern games very much spoil you with regards to providing you with consumables up front, removing your consumable supply. Overworld travel hasn't really been a significant part of the game for a long time. Although arguably Final Fantasy VII had some parts where, which is funny because that game was easy, but they did try to make overworld travel significant in that. I'm thinking mainly of that part with the swamp and the snake, and you use the chocobo to cross the swamp. The overworld was made significant. Otherwise, it's just another place to fight randoms that don't really challenge you. I don't know what to do. Fighting here is so boring. And I have so much money. And if I go to Provoca, there'll be equipment. Equipment is fun. I have very few restrictions related to my use of armor. None. None. Just my classes and the nunchuck thing. So I really go for some new armor. Okay, we're gonna go up here. We're gonna get wood to level 3, and we're gonna attempt the whole thing again. We'll walk in this swamp to get some slightly higher level enemy. Hey! Now we're talking. This is so great. No, it's not. Okay, we're gonna go up here. Went well. Except for, you might have to listen to some fast forward noise, I'm not really sure. That was actually a really good fight. Let's fight like a couple imps and get that part done. Gained like 100 experience, that's pretty cool. Some money, some much needed money. If this maintains being a habit, and I'm not sure if it will, this Twitch broadcasting and documenting my playthrough. You'll notice yesterday I was wearing a white t-shirt. I'll probably be wearing a white t-shirt a lot. I tend to wear a white t-shirt under a collared shirt for work. Every day but Friday. It's casual, so I don't mind being a little bit mismatched. That was such a good topic to bring up. That was so good. I have a white shirt. I'm special. And then behind me, you'll see pictures of my family. Try not to stalk them. They're nice. Here's my level. This weekend is actually my older son's birthday. He's turning 4. And so tomorrow I have the privilege of going to a party at a gymnasium, a really fancy gymnasium. It's going to be a lot of fun. Alright. Here we go. The big block yet again. Yesterday I was also mentioning that my wife is pregnant. We're expecting a third boy in early July. And so hopefully I can finish this challenge before early July. I guess it depends on how many forest tiles I have to walk through. Alright. Technically, haven't I already appreciated these squares? Yes, also mentioning that my wife is pregnant. We're expecting a third boy in. Do I have to appreciate the desert? How come no one wants me to appreciate the desert? Technically, haven't I already appreciated these squares? This, someone pointed out today-ish that this is basically the opposite of the gratitude challenge that was so popular, where everyone has the opportunity to unlock something. Everything is locked by default, and every participant on the board has the opportunity to unlock something, so they get a gift. And that was started by Diamond Dragon. And so this is kind of the opposite, except I told people to come up with wacky, fun ideas, and they did. And that's super cool. Even though I'm complaining a lot, this is super cool. Yeah. So the gratitude challenge caught on, and I think 3 or 4 people jumped on board right away, and I adapted it for Phantasy Star 4 as well, and that was a success. I finished that challenge. Save? No save. Just recover HP. So I've been thinking, if this catches on, I'm going to need to come up with really good things to ban for other people. I'm not going to be a jerk about it. What I really want to do is come up with something, hilarious. I don't think I can come up with the appreciating nature thing, but there's some pretty good things that I can think of doing that would restrict play in a way you'd never think of and make you play in a way you wouldn't expect. And that's what makes challenge play in general, I think, interesting, although I'm not really an expert on the subject. That's what we needed, is the monsters to strike first. Hey, my party order is like perfect right now. Oops. Oh, this is kind of tough and not very worthwhile. Going for broke here. Why did the monsters get to strike first? I wanted to strike first. You forgot about me. I'm the player. You're supposed to like me better than them. Square Enix. I like when people get mad at Square Enix for things that were really Square's problem. Square Enix, why did you do Final Fantasy X2? This is an interesting encounter. I think technically I already had this encounter once when a different pool of monsters appeared. Tick is going to die. But this is interesting because I'm really close to the city. This is an interesting encounter. I think I have no more healing opportunities. I think that I can do this as long as there aren't too many ogres. It's a little bit stacked against me. Or against Tick, I should say. There are healing opportunities. Well, this is not good. What's the right thing to do? Just tell me what's the right thing to do. I need to level up. Well, maybe I'll encounter some more ogres. The ogres themselves, a couple of them, not that bad, right? We're gonna level up. Sorry, everyone. Sorry, me. Oh, look at what I did. I'm an idiot. Oh, look what I did again. This is what happens when you fast forward. You make errors. Thankfully, those were easy enemies. Maybe I should go to the Toya's cave. No, that's just a waste of time. Oops, that was stupid. After I pick on myself for... No, look what I did again. This is what happens when you fast forward. Thankfully, it's pretty easy enemies. Whatever, got the job done. Earn more money than an in-visit. That's our success criteria here. Whatever, got the job done. I know it's because it's fast forwarding, but I'm getting paranoid about whether actually equip weapons. Mookie has 1 HP. Let's go this way. Darn. But it's a tiny bit of to revive somewhere. Especially here. And I have this massive pool of funds because I have little to spend it on and I'm playing super conservatively. And it's not just that, it's not that I'm playing conservatively, it's really not to make it more boring. Is it worth, no, I want Mookie to gain experience. Nope, that was an accident. I almost revived Mars. What was I going to say? Yeah, playing conservatively, but what you wouldn't normally do in Final Fantasy is walk through every square of the forest without running before you had bought equipment in the second town of the game. That's what's different here and what's awful here. But we'll stick it out and make it happen. I might go to bed in a little bit. Like I said, there's a big birthday party this weekend. Without running before you had done the second count. Interesting that the party order changed. Does that serve me any benefit? No, I think I'm going to leave everything as is. Well, I mean, I'm not going to change the party order because I can't. And that, for the unfamiliar, is because the select button is banned. But what I could change is who is wearing the cap. The cap being a piece of armor that is worn on your head, and so you can wear it plus a base suit of armor. It increases your absorb rate in your defense by 1. Not exactly a big deal, but it contributes, especially at these early stages of the game. So I have it on Wood right now, and it's on him, and I'm okay with that. Even though Tick is in the first position, and the character at the top is targeted much more frequently by enemies. But Wood is a lower level, and it's not that you gain any kind of defensive attribute by leveling in this game. It's just his HP total is what has me concerned. I'm going to just target the same one until it dies. Wood right now. These guys are off the screen. This swamp I'm walking in, and that is what that is, has never been significant to me before in a playthrough, but now this swamp is my official early game grinding location, except for the other early game grinding location that I've used until I could stand it no more. I'm not really interested in Wood dying in this fight. You're gonna write my congressman. Imagine if I had a better weapon. It would be so acceptable. Better armor. That would be cool. If only I could get to another town. So, as soon as I get to the next town, I will have the ability to fight a a set encounter with a group of pirates, and then I gain a ship, and I gain access to Elfland. And Elfland is the third significant city of the game. And what's interesting about Elfland is it has, you kind of hang out in the area for a while at that point in the game, I guess you could say. So the stores there have a range of goods. There's level 3 and level 4 white and black magic, so if Mars has some consciousness to spare, we might pursue that. And level 3 magic is really good compared to anything to that point. Can I use it yet? No, I don't think so. But also, there's an item for sale there that a lot of people think isn't supposed to be there. It's called the Silver Sword. It costs a lot of money. I happen to have a lot of money, so we'll see how that goes. The Silver Sword is stronger than any weapon you can get for a pretty long time, including a bunch of magical swords that are supposed to be really significant. But if you take the time to get the money to buy the Silver Sword, the magic swords are not that significant. Which is kind of sad for those magic swords. They have cool sprites, they have cool properties that were supposed to be implemented in the game but were never done properly. They're supposed to be effective against certain monster types, but they're not. But the Rune Sword has an awesome little weapon sprite. There's a weapon hurt and heal active on the game FAQ board for this game right now. Rune Sword is doing okay. I don't think I've actually hurt it or healed it, but I like the Rune Sword. I really liked the sprite when I was new to Final Fantasy. It drew me in. The Silver Sword is better than the Rune Sword. The Silver Sword has already been eliminated from that competition, and the argument raised is that it removes challenge from the game because it's an overpowered weapon. So you can see why I might want it. Why do wolves carry money anyway? What do they do? Buy some bark? You think that in more modern games it would be like the wolf would drop a pelt and you would have the way to craft the pelt and redeem the pelt somehow, and that would be the currency system in the game. You still don't see it so much in some games, and it's kind of strange to me that wolves carry money through these games. It seemed like they were trying to address it with all the droppables in Final Fantasy X, but that wasn't quite true. 12 is like that. 12 is actually closest to that. They've got the system whereby you basically salvage animal parts and sell them, and you get benefit from that. Okay, level 6. For tick and for now this is interesting. Tick's looks damage is 10 and absorb is 5. Visit armor. Looks damage is 10 and absorb is 6. Remove his staff. Damage is 12 and absorb is 6. That's a good sign in some ways. How long does it take for him to get his second hit? Oh, he gets 2 hits right away anyway. Yeah, he's gonna actually have I should have thought of this earlier. He's gonna have a significant increase in performance as of right now. Because when you attack barehanded as a monk, and only as a monk, you gain a second attack automatically. Your attacks are multiplied by 2. And because his fists are now stronger, or as strong as his staff, he'll be able to do significant damage, especially against lower defense enemies. And eventually, depending on how over leveled I have to get, he might be kind of my driving damage force from here on out, frankly. We'll see. So that was 1 hit, because if you have more than 1 hit, it actually shows you 2 hits in Final Fantasy. So it's possible that you could be doing considerably more damage, and that's without critical hits. And late game, the monks become, or the black belts, become very good critical hits as well. Their barehanded damage and critical rate is tied to their level. And as with all characters, their hit rate is tied to their level. So well, where was that last turn? 16 damage is not that impressive, but you know, it's the early game, you gotta forgive a little. But Wookie's gonna be pulling his weight now. And Mars's, because Mars is dead. I guess that's Tick's idea, to carry around Mars's corpse. So what's our goal here? I think I should be able to cross the crazy forest here. Let's wait for Wood to get his next level and then do it. And this time it'll work. I'm sure of it. That was Lucky doing 2 damage, or 2 hits rather, to a horse. A pony. A very intimidating pony. When you have little kids that do a lot of animal noises, you do what sound does a cow make? Moo. I'm not going to tell you the sound. Hopefully you know the animal sound. You know what sound does a cow make? What sound does a pig make? What sound does a cat make? What sound does a dog make? What's kind of strange is when my son was 1 or so, we went to like a rural resort type place, and they had ponies and pony rides, and we went on a nice pony ride, and he got to meet the ponies. And we asked him, what does a pony say? And he made it up, and I don't know where he would have heard it or learned it, and I'm pretty sure this is straight from his damaged, nearly 2-year-old psyche at the time. But he's pretty sure a pony says, or he was, this was a couple of years ago now, eat sheep. And he would say it every time. What does a cow say? Moo. What does a cat say? Meow. What does a pony say? Eat sheep. So he evidently believed that ponies eat sheep. So it could be that the mad ponies are so upset because there are no sheep in this game, but it's hard to be certain. That was some good damage out of Lucky there, and that was without a critical hit. Sometimes it's nice to have Lucky be the one to concentrate on the lower armored folks anyway. He's less likely to miss because he's got the 2 hits. Well, except that he only did 10 damage. That was not your best round, gentlemen. How close are we to that level? 13. Okay, we're fine. We're good. We're going to head back towards the area so that we can freshen up at the end. There we go. Everyone's gained a level. Let's gain 2. And at this early stage of the game, and especially with Luki crossing that threshold where his fists become so effective, I feel like we've made a pretty big advancement here. So let's see how this goes. Do I want to buy things for bonus? I'm not sure. I keep making fun funny face. I feel like I don't actually make that face in conversation all the time. It's more like I feel like my face needs to do something because it's going to be appearing in some size in the bottom right of your screen. But it's not like all Canadians are Jean-Chrétien. The only people who got that joke are Canadians. Okay, we're gonna do that ridiculous forest walk now. It's gonna go better. It's gonna go so much better. It's not like all Canadians are Jean-Chrétien. The only people who got that joke. We're gonna do that ridiculous forest walk. I don't actually remember whether a wolf has more damage potential than a griffin. But this will be fine. My cousin used to always write down ideas he had for games when we were growing up. And one of his favorite games, he would, write it on paper, he would map out a dungeon, and he'd say, this is for the next Final Fantasy game. And one of the things he really wanted was to have an enemy called the White Imp. He thought it would be so funny for it to show up and say, win. He thought that was legendary comedy. Although I forget off the top of my head if he wanted the White Imp to be super strong or super weak. I believe I missed a row of forest then. Can't disappoint the goat fishman. Goat fish guy. This is going nicely. The thing about symmetry. So there's this formation, and I've taken out the two corners, and now it's like I have to take out that middle row, at least if I want to target the girdle. And then I will have a symmetric pack of two wolves. Oh yes, that is so incredibly satisfying. Did that one. Oh, Luki took some hits there. I believe I've covered every tile. If anyone decides to call me out on, like, you missed this particular tile, I will find you. I don't know if the nature of the challenge is to make me suffer, right? It's to make the game more interesting. As long as I observe the spirit of things, I think that that's probably the idea. And we need to think about Wood's appreciation of nature and how much... I wonder how much square footage one of these tiles actually is. How much wildlife do we have to assume they're passing? Or is that a part of what's happening with the crystals, that perhaps all the wildlife is becoming sparse as the earth rots? There was a time not that long ago where I took a pleasant walk through a forest. I remember all these little birds coming at one part. It makes me think, are the light warriors encountering tiny birds? And why don't they get to fight them and get experience by them? Aren't tiny birds an excellent source of experience? Oops. Okay, what's the right thing to do here? I stand by that decision. Although, you know, I've been using my healing items much earlier than the last couple runs, even though I have the extra levels and the extra offense. This is gonna be alright. No ogres in a long time though. When are the ogres all gonna come out at once? That's not actually how this game works. The random number generator in this game is 4. And the encounter system is pretty well understood. So it's possible to find out where you are on a chart of encounters. You'll basically know what's coming up. Oops. Well, yeah, that's fine. You'll basically know it's possible to know what's coming up next as long as you don't change what enemy mapping domain you're visiting. There was my chance to strike first, finally. Okay, every time I've gotten this far, I've started to feel confident. This time too. Probably should stop doing that. What's the saying? Confidence killed the cat. I feel like I may have missed a row, but I've decided that that's okay because I'm observing the spirit of the challenge, right? Wood's not complaining. Look at his HP. He says, I've entered enough forests that I am feeling healthy and inspired. Probably should stop doing that. Oh, now he's somewhat less healthy. Oh, now he's gained a level. Yeah, he's fine. Don't you worry about Wood. Then he says, I'm going to do enough forests that I don't feel healthy and inspired. That was super satisfying. Then we get to talk to the Mohawk guy. What's a Mohawk guy? Should I buy gear? I'm gonna leave that one. I might leave that for the boards to coach me on. But I'm reasonably confident I can take the pirates. I'm quite confident I can take the pirates. This is ridiculous. Pirates, for whatever reason, are defensively the weakest enemy in the game. Weaker than goblins, weaker than anything. And it's funny because pirates with Japanese names are actually quite a bit harder and wealthier. That might make sense later. But, yeah, the pirates are not very strong. This fight is sometimes hard just because there's 9 of them and you have no multi-target options early in the game. So if you have weak characters, they just get clobbered by these guys, or they can. But my defenses are at least reasonable. My offenses are above average. Even though I have 3 characters, this isn't much of a threat at all. For that matter, you know, some of the wake-up call bosses in this game, like Astos, I'm not expecting them to be problems. My equipment's not limited. Travel is actually the hardest part of this whole challenge. Some of the more grueling dungeons with the magic restrictions and such, they're going to be tough, but I'm not afraid of Astos. I'm not really afraid of the fiends. I'm more afraid of the forests. Okay. Yeah, I have no idea whether to spend my money here or offline, but I think in terms of armor, I should just do offline. The question is what to do about silver swords. And I think I want them. I think 2 will be satisfactory. 2 might even be too much. That's the right thing to do. I'm gonna leave that. I'm gonna stop right here, for that matter. I'll save at the inn as a natural, legitimate stopping point. And this is where I will be done for today. That's a lot of money. I'm proud that I made it, but I do have no healing items left. I took the Hawkeye's spot. Saga! If anyone's watching, thanks. This will keep going.